Welcome to Context 101. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In the frozen north, where the land stretches endlessly beneath a blanket of snow and ice, a new crisis is quietly brewing between the United States and Canada. This is a region defined by its harsh beauty and unforgiving climate, but now, it's also becoming the stage for a modern geopolitical showdown. Two longtime allies, bound by history and geography, now find themselves locked in a bitter dispute over the Alaska Highway, a vital artery that has long connected communities, economies, and families across the border. What began as a seemingly minor trade spat has rapidly escalated into a high-stakes economic and political standoff. The stakes are enormous, threatening not just the flow of goods and people, but the very lifeline that sustains the North's remote towns and industries. President Trump's America First agenda, with its focus on national interests and economic leverage, now collides head-on with Prime Minister Trudeau's staunch defense of Canadian sovereignty and environmental priorities. The Alaska Highway has become a battleground of tariffs, tolls, executive orders, and political posturing, with each side refusing to back down. The world watches anxiously as this conflict sends ripples through global supply chains, disrupts Arctic resource extraction, and tests the very fabric of North America's partnership. Supermarket shelves grow emptier, shipping routes are thrown into chaos, and international markets react to every new development. The Alaska Highway, once a symbol of unity and cooperation during World War II, is now a choke point in a modern trade war. Its storied past stands in stark contrast to the uncertainty of its present and future. Decisions made in the halls of power in Washington and Ottawa are sending shockwaves across the continent. From the bustling cities of the South to the isolated outposts of the North, people are left wondering what the future holds for cross-border collaboration and trust. This story delves deep into the roots and explosive developments of the crisis, from British Columbia's controversial truck tolls that sparked outrage among American drivers and businesses, to President Trump's approval of the Ambler Mining Road, a move that has further inflamed tensions and raised environmental alarms on both sides of the border. Through expert analysis and voices on the ground, we'll reveal the profound impacts this standoff is having on politics, economies, indigenous communities, and the fragile northern environment. The perspectives of those who call the North home are more important than ever. The battle for the North has begun, and its outcome will not only shape the destiny of the Alaska Highway, but will also redefine U.S.-Canada relations for decades to come. The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher. The Alaska Highway, built in World War II, stands as a testament to U.S.-Canadian cooperation, an engineering marvel carved through wilderness in just 8 months. After the war, it became a vital economic artery, connecting Alaska to the lower 48 and symbolizing decades of open borders and mutual trust. But cracks appeared during Trump's first term, with NAFTA renegotiations and tariffs souring relations. Trump's return in 2025 reignited economic nationalism, challenging the spirit of partnership. Now, the highway is a focal point of retaliation, as both nations weaponize trade and access. The goodwill of the 1940s is eroding, transforming a symbol of friendship into a battleground. The legacy of the Alcan hangs in the balance, caught between its cooperative past and a confrontational present. In early 2025, President Trump's threat of sweeping tariffs on Canadian goods sent shockwaves through North America. Canada responded with retaliatory tariffs, but British Columbia's Premier David Eby went further, proposing steep tolls on U.S. trucks using the Alaska Highway. This direct challenge targeted Alaska's supply chain, threatening higher costs and shortages for essential goods. The legality of BC's move was questioned, with decades-old treaties at stake. U.S. officials saw it as a hostile act, escalating the standoff. The stage was set for a major confrontation, with trade, trucks, and the historic highway caught in the crossfire. Amid rising global tensions and a scramble for resources, President Trump fast-tracked the controversial Ambler Road, a proposed 211-mile industrial corridor cutting through Alaska's remote Arctic. The goal, to unlock vast, untapped mineral reserves buried beneath the wilderness, including copper, cobalt, and rare earth elements vital for modern technology and national defense. This bold move reversed a Biden-era block on the project, with Trump officials citing urgent national security concerns and the growing need to compete with China for critical minerals. As the U.S. faces increasing pressure to secure its own supply chains, the Ambler Road became a symbol of America's determination to reduce dependence on foreign sources. In a rare move, the US government invested directly in Trilogy Metals, the Canadian company leading the charge. This partnership signaled a new era of state-backed resource development, with both American and Canadian interests deeply intertwined in the Arctic's future. The decision sparked celebration among mining executives and industry workers, who saw new jobs and economic growth on the horizon. But it also drew fierce condemnation from environmentalists and Alaska Native tribes, who warned that the road and mining could cause irreversible harm to fragile Arctic ecosystems and threaten indigenous ways of life that have endured for generations. As construction plans advanced, the Ambler Road quickly became a flashpoint in the debate over America's reliance on Canadian companies for critical resources, even as trade tensions and political disputes between the two countries continued to escalate. The project's approval ignited fierce opposition across Alaska, with public meetings turning heated and protesters rallying to defend the land. The battle lines were drawn, setting the stage for a new and contentious front in the struggle for the North. Now, resource extraction, environmental protection, and indigenous rights collide in the Arctic wilderness, raising urgent questions about the future of one of America's last great frontiers. Trump's tariffs and the Ambler Road approval triggered a wave of retaliation from Canadian provinces. BC halted government purchases of U.S. products and banned alcohol from Republican-led states, making the dispute personal. Yukon joined in, barring U.S. companies from contracts, and considering bans on Alaskan athletes, and even Donald Trump Jr. Ontario imposed a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S., targeting energy-dependent states. These coordinated actions sent a clear message. Canada would not back down. The conflict became decentralized, with provinces leveraging their economic power to inflict targeted pain. From liquor bans to energy surcharges, the measures were designed to hit key American sectors. Canada's normally placid neighbor was now fully engaged in a damaging economic war to defend its interests. The fallout is real, especially in Alaska, where the threat of BC's truck tolls has businesses on edge. Alaska's isolation makes it uniquely vulnerable. Higher transportation costs mean pricier groceries, construction materials, and vital supplies. A 25% toll could raise the cost of goods by up to 10%, hitting every family and business. Canada's retaliatory measures, like Ontario's electricity surcharge, target U.S. states reliant on Canadian power. Provincial boycotts disrupt American exporters. From Kentucky bourbon to manufacturing parts, the tit-for-tat war chills investment and disrupts long-standing supply chains. Companies on both sides now face uncertainty, higher costs, and a fraying of economic integration. The prosperity built on free trade is at risk, replaced by inefficiency and mistrust. The Ambler Road controversy is more than just a local dispute. It's a defining clash between the forces of resource extraction and the enduring rights of indigenous peoples. At the heart of this conflict lies a fundamental question: who gets to decide the future of Alaska's wild lands? Alaska's Inupiat and Athabascan communities have depended on these lands for countless generations, relying on the caribou, salmon, and wild rivers for their survival and cultural identity. The proposed road threatens not only their hunting grounds and food security, but also the very fabric of their traditions and way of life. In response, 40 tribes have united in a powerful coalition, raising their voices in opposition. They warn of irreversible damage to caribou herds, the collapse of salmon runs, and the destruction of fragile rivers that have sustained their people for centuries. Environmental groups have joined the fight, amplifying concerns about acid mine drainage, the disruption of permafrost, and the long-term consequences for the Arctic ecosystem. They argue that the risks extend far beyond local communities, threatening biodiversity and climate stability. The Trump administration's approval of the project is seen by many as a profound betrayal, prioritizing corporate profits and industrial interests over treaty obligations, environmental stewardship, and basic human rights. For indigenous activists, it's a stark reminder of broken promises. The Arctic's future now hangs in the balance. Will it become a treasure chest for minerals and industry, or remain a sacred homeland to be protected for future generations? The stakes could not be higher. Today, the battle is waged not only in boardrooms and government offices, but also in courtrooms and on ancestral lands. Legal advocates and land protectors are fighting to ensure their voices are heard and their rights respected. Ultimately, the fight for the North is about more than resources. It's about values, identity, and the right to determine one's own future. The outcome will shape not just Alaska, but the legacy we leave for generations to come. As the standoff deepens, experts warn of lasting damage. U.S. officials defend aggressive tariffs as necessary for fair trade. Canadian leaders vow to protect their industries and sovereignty. Business leaders on both sides fear economic instability, higher costs, and broken supply chains. Environmental and indigenous advocates condemn the Ambler Road as reckless and destructive. Political analysts say the U.S.-Canada relationship is in uncharted territory, with shared values now in question. The conflict could set a precedent for weaponizing trade and infrastructure, destabilizing global cooperation. If the world's closest allies can fall into this cycle, what hope is there for others? The stakes are global, not just continental. The US and Canada stand at a crossroads, their partnership threatened by escalating conflict. If BC's tolls proceed, the US may retaliate, risking a full-scale trade war with global consequences. The best hope is quiet diplomacy and a new agreement on trade and transit. But entrenched positions make resolution difficult. The worst-case scenario is a hardened divide, with lasting mistrust and disrupted economies. This is more than a dispute over tariffs, it's a test of whether two democracies can navigate modern nationalism without sacrificing prosperity and security. The Arctic's fate, resource extraction or preservation, hangs in the balance. The power to change course lies with leaders and citizens alike. The choice: face the northern frontier's challenges together, or let conflict drive both nations apart.